How often have you been caught in an argument only to realize that the more you spoke, the worse it got? Or have you ever been in a situation where someone made a provocative comment and you felt the need to respond immediately? What if I told you that the best reply, perhaps the most powerful one, was no reply at all? We live in a world that thrives on noise. We're constantly surrounded by the opinions of others, unsolicited advice, and people trying to get the last word. And all too often, we feel compelled to defend ourselves, react, or engage in an emotional back and forth that only exhausts us and escalates the situation. But Stoicism, a philosophy that dates back to ancient Greece, offers us a radically different approach. Stoics don't react emotionally to insults or provocations. They don't engage in battles of words, especially when the battle has no purpose. The Stoic mindset is rooted in self-control. It's about understanding that you cannot control the actions of others, but you can control your reactions. So, instead of throwing out a quick, impulsive response, Stoicism teaches us the power of pausing. It's about silence and thoughtful, measured responses that convey power and control. One of the core ideas of Stoicism is to focus on what is within your control. You can't control how others behave, but you can control your reactions to them. So, when someone insults you or challenges your beliefs, the Stoic response is not to engage in conflict, but to rise above it. And one of the best ways to rise above it is to choose silence. In this segment, we'll explore the power of silence as a Stoic tool and how it can be more effective than any heated argument or rushed reply. Silence, when wielded correctly, is an act of supreme power. It sends a message to those around you that you are unmoved by external noise and that you do not need to engage in petty exchanges to prove your worth. But silence isn't about being passive or avoiding conflict out of fear. It's about creating space between the stimulus, the provoking comment, and your response. And in that space, you'll find the true power of Stoic wisdom. Choosing your response thoughtfully, or in many cases, choosing no response at all. Stoics understand that our internal state should not be dictated by external events. This is why they stress the importance of not allowing others to disturb your peace. By maintaining your silence, you demonstrate emotional independence, and independence that many find intimidating because it is rare in a world that constantly demands reactions. So, how does this idea of silence translate into a powerful response? The beauty of Stoic replies lies in their simplicity and emotional restraint. We don't need to prove our point, and we certainly don't need to engage in mindless banter or fights that leave us feeling drained. Instead, we respond with control, wisdom, and dignity. Now that we've established the power of Stoic silence and how it can serve as a tool of psychological dominance, let's dive into why you don't need to constantly defend yourself. Now, let's break down the art of emotional control and why it's one of the most powerful responses you can have. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone insults you, challenges your opinion, or disrespects you, and instinctively you feel the need to defend yourself? Maybe you fire back with a sharp response or try to explain your position, all while emotions run high. But after the exchange, you realize that all that energy you expended didn't bring you peace or closure. Instead, it left you feeling drained, frustrated, or even more agitated. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Stoicism teaches us that we don't need to defend ourselves in every situation, especially when the attack comes from a place of ignorance, disrespect, or malice. In fact, the Stoics would argue that the best response is often to not engage at all. At first glance, this may seem counterintuitive. After all, We are taught from a young age that defending ourselves is a form of strength. But Stoicism flips this idea on its head. Real strength lies in the ability to control your emotional responses. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it best: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the cornerstone of Stoic emotional control. When someone insults you or challenges your beliefs, it's easy to feel hurt, angry, or defensive. But Stoicism teaches that these emotions are within our control. It's not the words or actions of others that disturb us, it's our reaction to them. The Stoic response is not to be numb to feelings, but to recognize that we have the power to choose how we respond to external events. The anatomy of emotional control. Think about a moment when you were insulted or criticized. How did you respond? Did you feel the rush of defensiveness rising within you? That feeling is natural, but what makes it dangerous is the belief that you must act on it. Emotional control is not about suppressing your feelings, but about choosing your actions before you let emotions take over. This is where the power of silence comes in. Instead of reacting immediately, whether with anger, frustration, or defensiveness, the Stoic pause allows you to choose a response from a place of reason and clarity. The longer you hold back, the more power you have to assess the situation with a calm mind. Remember, when you defend yourself in a situation where you don't need to, you end up playing the other person's game. You are giving them the power to dictate your emotional state and guide the conversation. But by withholding an emotional reaction and taking a step back, you are asserting your control. The psychological power of not defending yourself. When you refuse to defend yourself in moments where it's unnecessary, something remarkable happens. You stop being reactive, and others start seeing you as someone who is unshaken by external circumstances. Your calmness becomes a source of power in itself. In a world where everyone is constantly fighting for validation, you stand as a solid figure, unmoved, unaffected, and in control. In fact, when you refuse to defend yourself, you often disarm your opponent. In many cases, the person who has insulted or attacked you is looking for a reaction, whether it has to prove they rewrite or to see if they can provoke you. When you withhold your defense, they are left with nothing to work with. They begin to question their own intentions, and in some cases, they'll begin to feel uncomfortable, unsure of how to continue the conversation. Your emotional restraint forces them to confront the lack of purpose in their own actions. This is the Stoic advantage unwarranted, getting dragged into a battle that won't serve you. You're choosing to maintain your integrity and sense of peace, and you are no longer at the mercy of external reactions. The truth of Stoic detachment. Let's be clear. Stoic detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about your peace of mind to not engage in petty conflicts that drain your energy. It means recognizing that your worth is not tied to someone else's approval or opinion. You don't need to constantly defend your actions, your beliefs, or your choices. Your self-worth comes from within. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations, "Choose not to be harmed and you want to feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." The power of emotional control is realizing that you have to absorb the weight of another person's words. You don't need to defend yourself. You can choose to remain unmoved, and in doing so, you maintain your dignity, your peace, and your power. Now let's explore how resilience in your responses, rather than reacting with defensiveness, is a true sign of strength. We'll dive into why resilience in the face of challenges is one of the greatest tools for shutting down negativity and staying in control. When you're faced with an attack, whether it's an insult, a criticism, or even just a rude comment, What's your instinctive reaction? Do you immediately defend yourself or try to win the conversation? That immediate response is often what weakens you. Machiavelli, as concept of power Stoic strength is found in the restraint of your emotions and in the resilience of your character. Let us break that down. Resilience in this context doesn't mean being unfeeling or passive. It means maintaining emotional stability and inner peace in the face of external provocation. When you master the art of being emotionally steady, your replies become measured, deliberate, and grounded in wisdom. In modern life, we are often taught to respond quickly, to stand up for ourselves, to speak our truth, and to engage emotionally in any conflict. But this is a path that leads to exhaustion and emotional turmoil. The true strength lies not in defending yourself or proving your point at all costs, but in holding firm in your convictions and not engaging in needless verbal sparring. Resilience in the face of provocation when you're provoked. The most powerful response you can give is often the one that isn't immediately reactive. This is where true resilience shines. The ability to face adversity without becoming emotionally entangled in it. Imagine someone insults you or questions your integrity. The immediate desire is to defend yourself, to explain why the insult is wrong, and to assert your superiority. But this does something that most people don't realize. It signals that the insult has power over you. When you respond quickly to defend yourself, you validate the power that person's words have over your emotions. Real resilience, however, is being able to absorb the insult without reacting in kind. You stand tall in your emotional control and respond, if necessary, with a calm statement that doesn't rely on attacking or justifying. This is where the Stoic reply comes. And it's not about proving yourself right. It's about demonstrating that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Machiavelli's approach to power shows us that resilience is about owning your emotions and your self-worth without needing validation from the outside. This detachment from the opinions of others can be an incredibly powerful position. People often mistake this strength for weakness. They expect an emotional reaction, a fight, a verbal clash. But when you stay silent or offer a calm, unwavering response, you make them uncomfortable. You make them question their own behavior because they can't provoke you into a reaction. Why weak replies actually reveal strength. Now, let's flip the script. We're taught that powerful people are the ones who speak the loudest or the most frequently, that they engage in verbal sparring and outwit their adversaries. But here is the truth. True power is the ability to remain calm and composed while others expend their energy. A weak reply is often a defensive response aimed at protecting your ego. It's rooted in the desire to prove yourself to others. But what does it actually reveal? It reveals insecurity. It reveals that you feel the need to justify yourself or to prove your worth to someone else. And when you feel the need to defend or explain, you relinquish your power. Stoic wisdom teaches that strength lies in not needing to react to every negative comment or insult. This does not mean you remain silent when action is needed, but it means that you choose your moments carefully. Your resilience is a silent force. It's not loud and it's not defensive. It is the ability to say, I don't need to prove my worth to you without ever uttering the words. In fact, the more you need to defend or react, the more you show the other person that they have control over you. It is the same reason why people who are constantly defensive are often not taken seriously. They appear to be on the back foot, always trying to explain or justify themselves. True strength comes from not needing to do this at all. The strength of a calm, measured response. In a world where everyone is quick to react and defend, Those who remain calm are often seen as impossible to provoke, and that is the real power when you can respond with measured, thoughtful words or even silence. Show your strength, but also your emotional intelligence. You demonstrate that you are unaffected by external forces and that only you control your emotional state. This calmness gives you the ability to evaluate your response carefully and make the most strategic move possible. You can choose your words carefully, keeping them sharp and impactful. A well-timed reply, short, thought, calm, and powerful will always have more weight than a hasty, defensive reaction. And the best part, it forces your adversaries into a state of confusion. They expected you to react, to get angry or upset, and now they don't know what to do with themselves. Your emotional steadiness confuses them. It puts the power back in your hands. It shuts them up. Now we've reached the most exciting part, the actual Stoic replies that will help you shut anyone up without engaging in a drawn-out argument or emotional battle. These replies don't rely on aggression or trying to win the conversation. Instead, they show emotional strength, wisdom, and control. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its simplicity. And these replies reflect that direct, impactful, and rooted in deep emotional intelligence. Let us break down 5 smart Stoic replies that will not only shut down negativity but elevate your own. Mindset 1. I don't need to explain myself to you. This reply is direct and assertive without being hostile. One of the core principles of Stoicism is that your self-worth is not dependent on others' approval. So, when someone challenges you or questions your choices, a Stoic would calmly respond with, I don't need to explain myself to you. It's powerful because it communicates that you're not seeking validation and that your decisions stand on their own merit. You don't owe anyone an explanation, especially when they're trying to provoke you or belittle your choices. This reply conveys that you are confident in your own path, and not everything requires a justification. This reply shuts down manipulation because it forces the other person to face the truth that they don't have the right to make you defend your actions. 2. That's an interesting perspective. This is a classic Stoic reply that shows emotional intelligence. It doesn't engage with the other person's criticism, nor does it dismiss it outright. Instead, you acknowledge their point of view without feeling threatened by it. This reply is powerful because it disarms hostility. It acknowledges the other person's opinion while maintaining your own calm stance. It subtly says, I respect your perspective, but I don't need to adopt it. You don't have to agree, and you certainly don't need to argue. It's about showing that their opinion doesn't affect you. The beauty of this Stoic reply is that it creates space between your emotions and their words, allowing you to respond calmly without fueling a fire of confrontation. By saying, that's an interesting perspective, you show control and detach from the emotional intensity of the situation. 3. I'll think about it. This reply is deceptively simple, but incredibly effective. It's a great way to deal with unsolicited advice or unwanted opinions. Instead of immediately reacting or feeling like you need to prove something, you take a step back and process the information. It doesn't shut the person down. Immediate just gives you the time to evaluate their words without engaging emotionally. This is the Stoic method of maintaining your inner peace and choosing when and how to react. You don't need to respond right away. You have control over the timing of your reaction. By saying, I'll think about it, you also demonstrate that you don't take everything at face value. You're not impulsive, and you don't let others control your decisions. You make your choices based on rational thought, not emotional impulses. 4. I'm not bothered by that. Here, you are immediately neutralizing the power of the other person's comment. Instead of getting defensive or upset, This reply shows that their words have no impact on your emotional state. It's the epitome of Stoic emotional control. When someone tries to provoke you or make you feel inferior, saying, "I am not bothered by," that is one of the most disarming responses you can give. It communicates that you don't need to engage with negativity because it doesn't affect you. The Stoic goal is to remain undisturbed by external forces. And this reply shows that you've mastered that art. It's a great way to show that you don't need validation from others. Their insults, criticisms, or negativity are irrelevant to you. Your inner peace remains intact. 5. I choose not to engage. One of the most powerful Stoic replies is simply declining to engage. This reply is the ultimate demonstration of emotional sovereignty. It means that you are not interested in playing someone else's game, whether it is an argument, a debate, or a power struggle. By saying, "I choose not to engage," you not only shut down the conversation, but you also assert your right to control your own energy. This response is powerful because it removes any expectation that you need to defend yourself. It is also a perfect way to handle people who try to drag you into useless drama or conflict. It shows that you choose where to invest your time and emotions, and you don't have to participate in interactions that don't align with your values. This is Stoicism in action. Understanding that you control your responses, and choosing not to give others the emotional satisfaction of provoking you. These 5 smart Stoic replies are a toolkit that can help you navigate difficult situations without losing your calm or integrity. They are simple, yet deeply powerful. They allow you to shut down negativity without getting involved in a battle of words. Each of them communicates self-control, clarity, and emotional mastery, the very essence of Stoicism. Now let us explore how to make these replies your own, so that they come naturally to you in any situation. We talk about integrating Stoic wisdom into your day-to-day life, and how to develop your own arsenal of power words that reflect your emotional intelligence and strength. Now that you've learned the power of these Stoic replies, the question becomes, how do you make them your own? It's one thing to read about these strategies and understand the theory behind them, but to truly embody them, you must integrate Stoic wisdom into your daily life. It's about developing a mindset that allows you to respond with intention, not impulsivity. Here is the thing. These replies aren't just words, they are a reflection of your inner strength. When you use these replies, they should feel authentic and grounded in emotional control. So, how do you build that kind of emotional mastery? How do you make these responses a natural part of your communication style? Step 1. Practice self-awareness. The first step to integrating these replies is to become deeply self-aware. You need to recognize when you're being triggered by external factors. Self-awareness is the bedrock of Stoic emotional control. Without it, you will keep reacting to things automatically, rather than making conscious decisions about your responses. Whenever you feel the impulse to react, whether with anger, frustration, or observe your emotions. Don't react immediately. This is where the Stoic mindset kicks in. Instead of immediately defending your position or fighting back, you take a moment to detach. By practicing self-awareness, you'll begin to recognize your emotional triggers, which is the first step in learning how to control them. You'll start to notice patterns in your reactions, and you'll realize when it's time to step back, reflect, and choose your response. Step 2. Internalize the Stoic principles. Stoic philosophy isn't just about silence or calm replies, it's a way of life. To truly integrate these smart replies into your daily interactions, you need to internalize the Stoic principles that underlie them. These principles focus on self-control, acceptance of what you can't change, and inner peace. Ask yourself, what's in my control here? The Stoics believed the only things you can control are your thoughts, actions, and reactions. Everything else, the opinions of others, the things people say or do, is beyond your control. Once you recognize this, it becomes easier to let go of the need to engage with negativity. Whenever you feel compelled to argue, defend, or explain yourself, ask yourself, is this worth my emotional energy? Is this in my control? Remember, the Stoics were masters at accepting the things they could not change. They focused on cultivating an unshakable inner peace by letting go of external influences and maintaining their sense of dignity and self-worth. When you embody this mindset, your responses will naturally become more thoughtful, measured, and, most importantly, grounded in your own principles rather than driven by emotional triggers. Step 3. Practice in low-stakes situations before you start using these replies in high-pressure moments. Practice them in low-stakes situations. This will allow you to test your reactions and refine your responses. For example, let's say you're in a meeting and someone interrupts you or talks over you. Instead of jumping into an emotional reaction or defending your point immediately, practice the Stoic pause. Try replying with that S, an interesting perspective, or ILL. Think about it. These simple, calm responses can change the dynamic of the conversation, allowing you to remain in control without getting emotionally involved. Or maybe you're with friends, and someone makes a sarcastic remark about you. Rather than snapping back or trying to explain yourself, try saying, "I'm not bothered by that." This sends a message of emotional independence, showing that their words have no power over you. The key is to practice these Stoic replies in situations where the stakes are lower, so that when more significant moments arise, whether in personal relationships or professional encounters, you, LD, prepare to respond with calm and inner strength. Step 4. Align your actions with your words. It's not just about saying the right things, it's about living the Stoic principles. When you practice Stoicism, your actions must align with your words. Your emotional steadiness and resilience should be reflected in everything you do, not just in how you respond to insults or provocations. Take time to reflect on your behavior. Ask yourself, am I living in accordance with my Stoic principles? Are you allowing external events to dictate your emotional state? Or are you choosing to remain centered and focused on what's within your control? For example, in a tense situation, you might choose to remain silent or offer a measured response. But beyond the words, how do you carry yourself? Are you reacting in ways that reflect inner peace? Or are you letting the situation control your mood? The more you align your actions with your Stoic mindset, the more natural these replies will become and the more effective they will be. Step 5. Let it become second nature. The final step in building your Stoic arsenal is to practice consistently until these replies become second nature. The more you use these smart Stoic replies, the more natural they will feel. Soon, you won't need to think about them consciously. They will become an instinctual part of your communication. The beauty of Stoic wisdom is that it allows you to live with clarity and purpose, rather than being swept away by emotional turbulence. When you respond from a place of inner peace, your words will carry weight. You'll be able to shut down negativity without even engaging in a full conversation. Now, let us dive into how Stoic wisdom doesn't just improve your communication, but changes your entire approach to life, helping you navigate challenges with grace, confidence, and power. Now that we've covered how to master the art of silence and craft smart Stoic replies, let's zoom out and look at the long-term benefits of living by Stoic wisdom. These principles are not just quick fixes. They a way of life that can transform every area of your life. When you integrate Stoicism into your day-to-day thinking, you begin to shift your mindset from being reactive to becoming proactive. You'll notice changes not only in how you communicate, but in how you navigate challenges, build relationships, and handle stress. Let's break it down and explore the long-lasting advantages of practicing Stoic wisdom. 1. Emotional independence and self-control. One of the most profound benefits of Stoicism is emotional independence. Instead of being at the mercy of external circumstances, Stoicism teaches you to take full responsibility for your emotions. This is a key element of personal power. You no longer allow others to dictate your feelings or reactions. Think about how much time and energy we waste on things we can control. Someone cutting us off in traffic, a comment that rubs us the wrong way, or a work issue that feels like it is out of our hands. Stoicism frees you from this cycle. By focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, responses, and actions, you gain control over your life and peace of mind. This emotional steadiness will radiate in your daily interactions. Over time, people will notice that you remain calm under pressure, that you are consistent in your reactions, and that you don't get dragged into drama. You'll become known as someone who can navigate the stormy seas of life without losing their composure. This reliability and inner strength is magnetic and commands respect. 2. Improved decision-making. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is the idea of thinking clearly and making decisions based on logic, not emotion. When you learn to pause before reacting, you're able to step back and evaluate the situation more objectively. In the heat of the moment, emotions often cloud our judgment. We might make rash decisions, say things we don't mean, or take actions that we later regret. Stoic wisdom teaches you to slow down, detach from emotional reactions, and make decisions that align with your values rather than your impulses. This practice of delayed response leads to better decision-making in the long term. Whether you're faced with personal challenges, career choices, or emotional conflicts, you'll make decisions that are rooted in wisdom, purpose, and emotional clarity, not reactive feelings. Over time, this approach will drastically improve the way you handle both big life decisions and small day-to-day challenges. People who act with stoic calm are often those who make the most calculated, strategic decisions, leading to greater long-term success. 3. Strengthen relationships. The power of Stoic wisdom extends into your relationships, both personal and professional. When you practice emotional control, listen more than you speak, and respond thoughtfully rather than defensively, your relationships naturally improve. By choosing not to react impulsively, you create an environment where others feel safe to express themselves without fear of judgment or conflict. You demonstrate that you value their opinions and their emotions, but at the same time, you establish strong boundaries that prevent emotional manipulation or disrespect. In romantic relationships, for example, the Stoic approach can prevent petty arguments and emotional outbursts. By responding calmly and with emotional intelligence, you ensure that your partner feels heard, understood, and respected. In the workplace, this approach cultivates an atmosphere of professionalism, trust, and mutual respect, making it easier to navigate conflicts without escalating tensions. As you consistently practice Stoic responses, you'll find that your relationships become healthier, more balanced, and more stable. The foundation of mutual respect and emotional resilience that you build will make these relationships far more enduring and fulfilling. 4. Enhanced focus and productivity. Stoicism doesn't just teach us how to deal with others. It is also an invaluable tool for personal growth. By focusing on what's within our control, we direct all of our energy toward productive actions, rather than being distracted by external circumstances. This allows us to cut through the noise, stay on task, and achieve our goals with precision. In today's fast-paced world, we are constantly bombarded with distractions, be it work demands, social media, or our own insecurities. Stoicism helps you stay focused on what truly matters, removing distractions and aligning your actions with your purpose. When you apply Stoic principles to your life, you'll notice that you waste less energy on trivial concerns, and you'll have greater mental clarity to focus on what's important. The more you practice this focused mindset, the more productive and effective you'll become in every aspect of your life, from work to personal development. 5. Increased peace of mind and resilience. Lastly, the long-term benefit of living by Stoic wisdom is a profound sense of inner peace. By practicing detachment from external events, you learn to face life's challenges with grace and resilience. You understand that setbacks, failures, and criticisms are a part of life, but they don't define you. Your response to hardship is where your true power lies. Instead of being overwhelmed by life's difficulties, Stoicism teaches you to adapt. Whether you face personal loss, career setbacks, or emotional turmoil, Stoicism gives you the tools to weather the storm without losing your sense of self. You become more resilient, able to bounce back from setbacks quickly and maintain your peace of mind no matter the situation. When you stop letting external factors dictate your happiness and emotional state, you gain control over your inner world. You become untouchable, not because nothing bad ever happens to you, but because you've mastered your ability to remain unshaken by the chaos of life. Integrating Stoic wisdom into your life doesn't just make you better at handling insults or negative comments. It transforms your entire mindset. By learning to respond rather than react, you cultivate emotional control, better decision-making, healthier relationships, enhanced productivity, and unshakable inner peace. These are the tools of true power. And as you begin to practice Stoicism, you'll find that not only are your replies smarter, but you also develop a mental resilience that leads to greater success, fulfillment, and clarity in every area of life. In the next video, we'll explore more powerful Stoic principles that can take your life from ordinary to extraordinary. Stay tuned, and remember, the more you master your mind, the more power you have. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you've found value in learning how to apply Stoic wisdom to shut down negativity and maintain your emotional power, make sure to like this video and drop a comment below about which Stoic reply resonated with you the most. Don't forget to subscribe to Mind of the Alpha for more insights on mastering emotional control, developing unshakable confidence, and becoming the best version of yourself. If you're serious about stepping up your life game, hit the bell icon so you never miss a new video. Remember, the best replies come not from defending yourself, but from holding your inner peace and rising above the noise. You control your emotional world, and once you master that, the world around you will follow suit. I'll see you in the next one. Stay calm, stay strong, and stay stoic.